Hello, Wiffle Nation. You're listening to the Huntington Wiffle League Podcast, and I'm your host, Josh, not the Father Smith. With me is Jeremy Ladykiller Litton in studio as a producer, and special guest, Jeremy Pray the Gay Away Ray. Not with us this episode is Greg Sowards.
Damn crying shame.
Okay, so this has officially been the wettest season on record.
That's how I like it, Josh.
It's been very moist,
Very,
very wet, very damp.
very soaked.
There was moisture.
Wet everywhere. Just water gushing.
Like if this season were clothing, it would be dirty, wet socks in the back seat.
I think we could have, yeah. We're sweaty gym clothes in your backpack on a hot summer day. It just stinks.
Standings are as follows. Sit in my base, 19-1. Closest team behind them in their division, Black Sheep Wiffle, coming from behind after a rough start to the season in week 1. They finished 12-8, finishing at 500 with a lot of promise halfway through the season and just failing to deliver against teams that they should have beaten and beating a lot of teams that a lot of people didn't think they could beat. Chicken and Wiffles at 10-10. And the only team to go winless since the inaugural season in 2012, Plain White Tees finished 0-20. In the other division, Breaking Balls finished strong 18-2. Not a far cry from their 20-0 season last year, but I think they earned every single win they had, except for maybe one in their series against Black Sheep Wiffle during interleague play. But finishing at 18-2, no doubt will be ranked in the top 50 nationally. Asthmatics finished 10-10. Wifflin Dixie, surprising, I would say, just about anybody who was on the episode of this podcast that was the preseason predictions episode back in March, finished 8-12.
We are sorry, Greg. We were wrong.
4 games under 500. I would say that's more than double the amount of games that a lot of people predicted them to win. And the Huntington Wifflers, I would say a team that overall has disappointed as far as attendance goes, finished the season 3-17.
I would just like to point out, if they were a student in my class, they would be in court for truancy.
Yes.
Most definitely.
I would say they probably could have maybe given Wiffle Dixie a run for their money for third place in the division. You had breakout players like Frank Schuler, Zach Sturgill, that really were premier players. Wes Larson joined them in the second half of the season as a good fielder and a good hitter. Pitching, something they really didn't have. Frank Schuler was a really good pitcher, but he didn't show up enough. There's a lot of professionals on the team that had a hard time getting to the field. So I would say that was maybe more disappointing than Plain White Tees losing every game. They only forfeited 2 games, 1 series. Wifflers forfeited nearly half of their games this season. So I would say it's a big letdown as far as I'm concerned. And we'll be right back after this break. Hi, is this Patrick?
Patrick Gale.
Patrick Gale?
Close, yes.
Hi, Patrick. This is Josh with the Huntington Wiffle League Podcast. May I have a moment of your time, please?
I'm cooking dinner.
Okay, thank you. So you are the co-captain of Sit on My Base, but finished 19-1 this year. How does it feel to finish the season in first place?
It just feels great to finish the season.
Yeah.
It feels good. We really came on. Felt our best in the second half. And meshed well together, I guess is what you could say. Jeremy carried the team with his pitching throughout the whole year, especially with Nick leaving early. Andrew's been huge on the offensive side of the ball. And then you fill in all the other players. Dunkel, he has the speed. Scotty, he's a power hitter. And Jeremy, also on the plate, and he finished at the top of the league in average. So we have a really well-rounded team, and we're a force in the playoffs now.
Okay. Seeing that you finished 19-1 in a 20-game season, we play a pretty long season compared to a lot of leagues. Where do you think your team deserves to be in the final rankings this year?
In the NCAA rankings?
Yeah.
I'd say top 5. I mean, I think I'd take our team against any team out.
Okay.
You have everybody that you want on the team. I mean, if we're going pitcher versus pitcher, Jeremy's all of his own against anybody in the country, and he did that last year up in Columbus. And if we had Andrew up in Columbus last year, it would have been a completely different story, because Andrew can nail the ball, especially when people are pitching from 48 feet away. So, I mean, I think that we're a top 5 team without a doubt.
Okay. So we're talking about the star rating system possibly for next year. Like, it's going to happen. It's just we're trying to nail down the details. How do you think this is going to affect the league?
It's going to bring a competitive balance to the league. I don't think if we stick to it, we can get players to actually play with other people in the league, and the people that have been in the league for the past 2 years, everybody gets along with each other. So I don't think it'd be a problem with the returning players to play with different people. I think getting the new players adjusted to being able to come on and play on a random team, I think that's where the issue is going to be at if we have anything. But the star system gives us a really good competitive balance. You're not going to have those, seller teams. Any given point, a team's going to be able to win a game.
Okay. Trying to think of another question here. Spit or swallow?
I'm going to swallow and I'm going to press rape charges.
Okay. If you had to build a 5-person dream team, let's say there's no star rating system, who would you pick and why?
I'd go with, that's tough, because I'm going to sound like a homer on this one. I'd go with Andrew. I mean, he brings the bat. Then, I'd want Brian Ball. Brian Ball's aggressive. He knows baseball very well. He's very strategic, and he's great in the field. I mean, you can ask for a better fielder than Brian Ball. On the mound, for this season, I'd go with Jeremy. He's been the best pitcher without a doubt. So, I have to stick with Jeremy there. I'd go with Ryan Britt. He can give you home run potential any given bat.
He's also a pretty good fielder.
Huh?
He's also a pretty good fielder.
He is. And then I go with Dunkel. Dunkel is one of those wild cards. I mean, he hasn't been at the top of the league, but I mean, when he's on, he's on. But the negative thing is when he's off, he's off. And that would be the 5 team I'd roll with.
Okay. No Mike McCoy on this team?
I want to go to infield. You only have 2 people out there, so, I mean, Mike McCoy is a great bat, but he's questionable on defense.
Yeah. Okay. I can't really think of any other questions. This year compared to last year, where are some strengths you think we got that we improved upon last year, and where are some areas that we have yet to improve on, in your opinion? There are no wrong answers.
First, I think the weakness is, wording in the rule book and the rule book in general. But it needed an overhaul last season, and we didn't really give it. We focused on a couple rules to try to go back to the tournament style. instead of giving the whole rule book a really good look over and fixing. So I think that'd be our biggest weakness. The strength this year is the close-knit bond of all the players now. This is the second year we've all played together, and, we can all joke around and, have fun at the wiffleball field and, on Facebook when somebody's tagging you and 30-some pictures on Facebook of Jeremy's Creek flight. So, I mean, it's a good camaraderie, and it's fun to play, and that's what makes it fun, is that we all get along so well together at the field and at home.
That was very touching.
It was, wasn't it?
That was very nice. I think I have a semi out of that one. That was a good one. You're good. You're a good smooth talker.
I am. I know how to build somebody up.
Nice. What are you looking forward to most next year?
I'm looking forward to the star system. I'm looking forward to seeing how that adjusts to our league. I think it'll make us stronger, and I think it's going to be fun to see all the moves, if there are moves associated with that.
Okay, well, I am out of questions. Do you have any other comments you'd like to make before we let you go?
I'm going to go ahead and give my playoff predictions.
All right. Let's hear them.
Okay. First game, Breaking Balls versus the Wifflers. I'm going to take Breaking Balls. Probably going to forfeit, but hopefully not.
You're probably right.
Wiffle and Dixie versus Asthmatic. This is my upset alert. I'm saying Wiffle and Dixie is going to win.
Wow.
On the other side, you have Sit on My Base versus Plain White Peas. I think it's going to be closer because last week they, hung around with Black Sheep. And, the strategic of having to pick which pitcher you're going with in your first game, obviously we're not going to want to pitch Jeremy in the low seeding game. We're going to want to save him, so we'll probably be pitching against, Zach will be hitting off, against Andrew again, and last time he hit a lot of home runs off me, like every at bat, of course, of home runs. But I still pick Sit on My Base to win. Black Sheep probably only having 2 players this week. If it's played this week, I will take Black Sheep still beating Chicken Wiffles because it doesn't.
That's fair.
Can't beat Black Sheep at all. And then I have Breaking Balls beating Wiffle and Dixie, and Sit on My Base beating Black Sheep as my playoff pick.
So you got Sit on My Base and Breaking Balls in the championship.
Yes.
Some would say that's almost what should have been the championship last year.
I think the championship last year should have been Wee Willie Wiffle and Breaking Balls, but
Meh.
no.
Meh. Meh. Jeremy Ray's shaking his head right now. All right, thank you for your time, Patrick. We'll see you soon.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, bye.
Do you want to listen to more episodes of the HWL Podcast?
Hell yeah!
Yay! Then visit our website at HWL.com. We'll see you there.
Like I was saying, he just jizzed all over the comforter, and I was like, man, if we're going to be roommates. Oh, we back? Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry
about that.
All right. We are back for episode 16, the 16-bit of the Huntington Wiffle League podcast. Here to talk about the awards watch. Moments ago, Jeremy Ray took one for the team and finished the last bit of statistics to enter for the final bit of the regular season this year. And we finally have all the statistics finished to where we can safely say who won what award.
Yay.
Yay!
Hell Whoever does the book sucks.
Next year, we're definitely going to streamline how we do the statistics, so no worries. Starting from the top, if you're unfamiliar with what the awards are, I'll run through them real quick. We have the Home Run King, whoever hits the most home runs. Golden Slugger, which is the person with the highest batting average that's played a minimal amount of games. Silver Slugger, which is the most hits. Bronze Slugger, which is the most RBIs. Then it switches to pitching. We have the Cy Wiffle, which is the best overall pitcher in the league, which we factor in ERA, WHIP, Ks, wins, all those things. Strikeout King, which is the pitcher who has the most strikeouts, which, coincidentally enough, A lot of the times, the person who wins the Strikeout King is not the Cy Wiffle winner. Rookie of the Year, which is the first time, I think it'll be a hotly contested category. The Most Improved Player, which is normally a very boring category, is heating up. Then the Paul Martin Sportsmanship Award. And then we'll be unveiling, for the first time ever, the Fielder of the Year Award. So let's start from the beginning. With us in studio is special guest Jeremy Ray.
How's it going?
How you doing, Jeremy?
Doing all right.
Okay. Jeremy, since he helped out a lot with statistics this year, we're going to let him have a say when we go through these and deliberate over who wins what. Home Run King. Who won?
That was Andrew Westcott. He had one more home run over Ryan Pritt with 27. Ryan Pritt had 26, and Zach Blatt had 25.
Awesome.
Zach almost came away with it the very last two games because he had about 8 home runs and made up a lot of ground.
I think this would have been a lot more interesting with Mike McCoy in the mix if they were not forfeited to so many times. The Huntington Whifflers forfeiting games really, I think, messed with a lot of statistics that could have been as far as offense goes.
I would probably give Mike at least 6 to 7 more home runs.
He really should have been the champion this year.
Because they forfeited to Wiffle and Dixie 3 times this year.
Mm-hmm.
So play those 3 games. I would give him an average at least 2 games.
A lot of people thought after the 50-1 blowout between Black Sheep and Plain White Tees earlier this season, before we put a cap on runs midway through the season to prevent that kind of stuff, that Blatt or Ball would have won the title just from overinflation of statistics. But as we saw, that didn't seem to matter much because Andrew Westcott still managed to rise above the fray. And in Blatt's defense, he was dropping bombs regularly throughout the season. He just happened to hit quite a few that particular night. So a lot of people worried about that. Turned out not to matter in the grand scheme of things. Golden Slugger, the highest average. Jeremy Ray with a .702 average. We're sort of returning back to those 2013 batting averages.
But with the yellow bat. Instead of the black bat.
Brent Thompson hit .880 in 2013 to be our batting champion.
With a black bat.
With the black bat.
I would like to see what he can do with a yellow bat against this style of pitching that we have.
Does that mean we can finally return to the Captain Caveman bat?
Fuck no. Brian Ball was in second with a .679 average. He was leading the pack with average for a considerable amount of time, but he missed a couple games, and then some forfeits happened. Well, he just sort of got out of the mix and didn't get to the plate.
If he would have showed up this past week, he would have won it.
He probably would have won it, yeah. He was close. And then Paul Hessen, who is one of the more – no one talks about it, but he's one of the best hitters in the league. He was a sought-after free agent last year before he started his own team this year. And he still got the goods. He doesn't hit the long ball as much, but he's still getting on base quite a bit. Next is the Silver Slugger, which is the most hits.
Ryan Pritt won it with 63. Jeremy Ray had 59, and Brian Ball had 55.
Pritt was crushing the ball all year. He was also a favorite early on in the season for the Home Run King, but didn't quite get it. Next is the Bronze Slugger, most RBIs. I think this will surprise a lot of people.
Yeah. Zach Blatt ended up with 84 RBIs.
It's 9 more than the second-place person.
Ryan Pritt, 75, and Andrew Westcott was 68. But if you notice, the same 3 people also were in the top 3 for home runs.
It's just on its head. Okay, so that's all for the offensive ones because that's all we care about. No one cares about who walks the most or who brings in the most runs. Fuck that shit.
I think we need to have a walk-a-thon.
I thought we did have a walk
that most patient hitter, but it's like a award, not award. It's a backhanded compliment. It's like, hey, nice going.
I think McClanahan won that one.
Probably.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And by the way, we just looked it up, and Zach Blatt ended up with the most walks with 47, and Drew McClanahan had 43.
Nice. Okay, so let's hit the pitching stats, okay? ERA. They're much more higher than they were last year. We had a lot of people below 1 in the ERA department. Now the lowest one was 2-point-something.
Jeremy Ray had a 2.29.
I like how Jeremy Ray refers to himself.
He's like, I won this award. My name's Jeremy Ray.
I'm trying to be professional here.
Pretty good.
In the third person. I'm afraid he's going to kill me now.
Drew McClanahan is second with 4.35.
That's almost double the ERA.
Because he's a bitch. And Josiah Chapman, rookie, came in third with a 6.25.
He's a very hard pitcher to hit off of.
If he would get some of his motions down and some of his pitches down, he can
throw a riser. He's one of the few people in the league that can throw a riser, reasonably accurate.
And he throws something similar than I do. It's like a drop ball. And if he gets that one on accuracy, it's going to be very, very tough.
And he's got some speed on it, too. It's like if you mix Jeremy Ray with, like, Nick Capra.
Yeah, that would be a perfect analogy.
Jeremy Capra?
Nick Ray.
Is that
Capra
Nick
Ray.
Ray?
A Capricorn.
Capricorn.
Okay, next is whip. That's walks or hits per innings pitched. Jeremy Ray had 1.46. Drew McClanahan had 2.25. And then Zach Blatt, who pitched a considerable amount this year, with 2.32. I think we were all a little surprised that Steven Atkins didn't pitch quite as much while we're on the subject for Black Sheep Wiffle.
There seemed to be some tension there.
Yeah, a lot of it was because early on in the season, I believe Steven Atkins just had like an array of injuries. He had a foot problem at one point, and then he had like a collarbone or something. Yeah, dislocated shoulder. He just had a lot of difficulties. Next,
Accident prone.
Strikeouts, which is the first time this has ever happened. This is also the first time the strikeout king will be crowned that has less than 100 strikeouts, I believe. Jeremy Ray and Paul Hessen, if you can believe it, are tied with 62 strikeouts apiece. And then Drew McClanahan with 61, barely just missing out. And then Jacob Fisher is the closest behind him with 45 strikeouts. Now, what we're going to do to break this tie, we're going to see how it plays out in the playoffs. And whoever has the most strikeouts during the playoffs, Jeremy Ray or Paul Hessen, will be crowned this year's strikeout king. So that's how we're going to settle that.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, go fuck yourself.
I like it. It's just me versus him at this point.
And for anyone interested in innings pitched, Jeremy Ray pitched 48 innings for the most. Next was Paul Hessen with 40. And Drew McClanahan, for some reason I put below Paul, pitched 41.1 innings. A lot of people pitched around 15 to 25 innings. Well, but your aces pitched around 40-plus innings.
I would say if Paul or Drew actually played all their games and didn't have any forfeited, because we didn't have anything forfeited to us this year. So we played all 20 games. Drew and Paul both had games forfeited to them.
And they were in the division with the
Whifflers.
With the Whifflers, yeah.
And if they were to play, they would have more innings pitched, and I wouldn't be even
you probably would not be
in
in contention, yeah.
In the strikeouts.
So on the behalf of many teams in the league, thank you, Whifflers.
And then our newest category, Fielder of the Year. Although we don't keep fielding stats, we do keep video when it's not pouring the rain. And I think, hands down, anyone can argue with me. We need to fight about it. Brian Ball is the most deserving person in the league for Fielder of the Year.
Some of his plays have just been ridiculous.
He's completely innovated how fielders make do with having one less fielder from the change from last year. He's not affected whatsoever by having that one less person out there.
I mean, I don't know how many times he's robbed home runs.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably robbed about 20 to 30 home runs.
It's ridiculous. He's completely turned the tide for his team numerous times. They finished above 500, I think, large in part because of the defensive antics of Brian Ball. So congratulations to all of our award winners. And for people in contention for Rookie of the Year and Strikeout King, there will still be deliberated pending further actions. Now, Rookie of the Year, I just now realized I did not address that at all. Rookie of the Year, last year, it's kind of kicked up some dust when Jacob Fisher won it, but we only had 4 to 6, I can't remember off the top of my head, returning players from the previous season, so everybody was in the running for Rookie of the Year. A lot of people thought that maybe Nick Capra or Jeremy Ray or Andrew Westcott.
Should we reveal how we picked that?
Or Richard
I'm
Ball.
actually kind of curious.
Or whatever.
He shows up halfway through the season.
See, and then Josh put all the rookie names into his nifty little Kindle. And you remember the
spinner?
You
did that.
That's not how I did it. I stand by my decision. Nobody even came close to being as valuable on an individual basis as Jacob Fisher that year. There's no way. He was a complete game changer for that team. Paul rebuilt that team. Had he not had Fisher, they would not have made it to the semifinals, I believe. Fisher he hit the game-winning home run in the championship. Bastard. He threw no-hitters. He went toe-to-toe with everybody. He was a major player for our team in the NCAA tournament. Hands down. Nobody could touch him as far as a lot of people thought Drew McClanahan should have got. Yay. Another award for Drew McClanahan that year.
Rookie beat KWL Aces because Fisher pitched, and he pitched really, really good.
Fisher, I stand by that, even though he played he played a little bit before the second half of the season. I think he participated in week 4, if I'm not mistaken, possibly. But
No,
either way, like his numbers
They played us week 4.
dwarf any of the other contenders that we had for Rookie of the Year.
It was after week 5.
But the way we did it this year, in years past, it's just been Greg and I, but we added this League Rules Council, which, for better or worse, has helped make more egalitarian decisions. And for these opinion ones, the ones that are subjective to opinion awards, like Sportsmanship Most Improved, Rookie of the Year, it's come down to 2 people, and they're both on the same team. Their names are Veronica Stanley and Josiah Chapman.
Respectively.
Yes.
And for the longest time, everyone was just having Josiah as the hands-down favorite.
Yeah.
Because
and Zach Sturgill early on was a contender.
But Veronica is a hard person to get out.
Mm-hmm.
She is very tough at the plate. And it showed. I mean, she has a pretty good batting average. I believe it's still over 500.
Yeah, she's in the top half of the league.
Yeah. And so, I mean, she came in quietly.
Mm-hmm.
But it made a point to.
She's a quiet player. She's a contact hitter. She's good at ball placement. She gets the runners moving.
And she doesn't strike out much.
She doesn't strike out much. Yeah, and she hits home runs.
Yeah.
She's an all-around player. She doesn't pitch, which that team has been a real fun team to watch because it's a team, aside from Paul, and Paul's still a new player.
Yeah.
It's only his second season. He's still finding his way through the sport. Everybody else in that team was a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, didn't Paul play like twice the year before last?
During fall ball season.
Oh, okay.
Josiah Chapman had experience in our Garrett Drive Football League and Hurricane probably about 7 years ago, but ever so slight. He only played a few times. But, Josiah Chapman was coming out strong. Zach Sturgill was dropping bombs all day long against Drew even. I mean, he had that reaction time, but Wiffler's had trouble getting to the field, ergo Sturgill did not play that much. And that has become one thing that has separated Josiah Chapman and his teammate Veronica Stanley. Veronica Stanley has played almost every game that the team has played this season, and Josiah Chapman has had some spotty attendance. I think he's only played 13, 14 games this year, whereas Veronica Stanley has played 18+. I think they were forfeited to once, and she's played every game aside from that, and she was there the day that they got forfeited to.
Actually, that whole team was there.
Having played them as a pitcher and a fielder, I don't think I got Veronica out a single time. I mean, she's incredibly hard to get out. She's a smart base runner. She's very thin, so it's very hard to peg to. I think it would be awesome if she won it because this sport in general and this league as well has had difficulty getting female players, and it would be something to see a female player win an award, no less.
Yeah.
That wasn't a award, not award, like most patient hitter.
I wouldn't be surprised if she did win it.
But that's something that's going to be pending deliberation and a vote for a majority on the League Rules Committee.
Do you mean she who takes most walks?
Yes.
Is that who you're referring to?
I'm referring to the late, great Ariel Horde, who has moved on out of the state for job opportunities, was our most patient hitter in 2012 and 2013, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, she wasn't in the 2014 season. We will be right back after this break with a special interview with our guest, Jeremy Ray. did miss one award that I would like to recap, and I think is the most important one since we have a lot of returning players for the first time in this league's history, and that is the Most Improved Player Award. Now, there were a lot of people that we considered halfway through the season in that episode of the podcast to be considered for it. Patrick Rayl, Mikey Saxton, Mike McCoy,
Kevin Chadden. Those last two names are the ones that are neck and neck to be determined, and we're going to determine them on air.
On air.
Who won Most Improved Player? So, here are the statistics this year for Mike McCoy and Kevin Chadden. Now, on the face of it, their statistics this year don't matter. It's how they improved from last year.
And it was a significant difference because both of them have actually improved so much that they actually became a threat at the plate.
Yeah.
Can I just state, here's one reason why McCoy became a better player. Just putting this out there. He's not on Josh's team.
Well, I think that helped a lot because they had more of a bare-bones roster. Well, I mean, their team is the same team minus me, Andrew Hankins, and Julie Meadows. So they got rid of those three players and only added one replacement.
I miss Julie.
Now, if they would have added Zach Daniels to their team instead of letting them go to plain white tees, Mike McCoy would have had less at-bats. He would have had less RBIs for sure because you know Zach Daniels would have been knocking in people. Now, here are the stats for Mike McCoy and Kevin Chadden this year. And, Jeremy, I'm going to have you read their stats from last year. Okay? So, this year, Mike McCoy hit .449, 22 home runs. He's in the top 5. 56 RBIs, which is very high. 17 strikeouts, not bad. 30 walks. That's a lot of walks. 588 on-base percentage, and a 1.202 slugging percentage with 89 at-bats. Kevin Chadden this year hit 2 points higher, 451 average, 12 home runs, 24 RBIs, 17 Ks, 19 walks, 567 on-base percentage, and a 986 slugging percentage with 71 at-bats. Now, considering that Mike McCoy is on a 4-player team, whereas Kevin Chadden is on a full rostered 6-player team, he's going to have less at-bats, have less opportunities to do things like have RBIs.
And plus, he also was hitting right behind Andrew Westcott, who led in home runs and was third with RBIs.
And also, no one gives a shit because it's about individual players and what they accomplish. Now,
just throwing that out there.
Last year,
Mike McCoy hit .225. That was his average. 6 home runs, 10 RBIs, 6 walks, 18 strikeouts, a 526 on-base percentage, and a 675 slugging percentage. And Kevin Chadden had a .306 batting average, 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, 10 walks, 17 strikeouts, on-base percentage of .424, and slugging percentage of .490. Now, the difference for Mike is that his average went up .224. He hit 16 more home runs with 46 RBIs, 46 more RBIs, 9 more walks, 1 more strikeout. His on-base percentage went up .062, and his slugging percentage went up .673. With Kevin, his average went up .145, had 9 more home runs, had 19 more RBIs, 9 more walks.
Blah, 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 blah. Not as good. Not as good. Boo! Mike McCoy is your most improved player.
On paper, yes.
What do you mean on paper? It's all that matters.
But
we keep stats for this shit, son.
I'm just saying, but Kevin's also been a good fielder, too.
I'm not going to discount Kevin. He is the better fielder out of the two of them.
You are discounting Kevin.
Yeah. Mike McCoy has been the X factor for Wiffle and Dixie all year.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
And does Mike McCoy deserve to win it? Yes, absolutely. I mean, he on paper and
he has almost double the amount of progress as compared to any other player that's played this year to last year.
And he should. Do I think that he's the winner? Yes, but I'm just saying.
We should have another category for what the fuck happened player award. That would be me. My season sucked so much ass this year. It is awful.
Wait, when have you had a good season?
Well, it's not so much I've had a good season. It's just I've had far less success this year as compared to last year.
I always enjoyed pitching against him.
Your problem is this year you don't have to explain as many rules.
I think your problem this year is that
I retired, so
you're sterile.
shut up.
All right, so with us in studio, on location in Buffalo, West Virginia, by the way, with a soundboard. This is pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm doing it pro.
I'm getting my
ladies and
back
gentlemen.
massaged right now.
I kind of have like a 18-inch black rod in my face.
Jeremy's supposed to finish me off with a happy ending. So Jeremy,
I promised it.
let's start the questions to have some sort of semblance of an actual interview here.
All right.
How was Sit on My Base built this year?
Well, we originally were just thinking of who we can add for next year because it was in discussion of having a 2-pitcher rotation. And so we thought, Nick Capra would be a good person because out of our team, Scotty came in and pitched a little bit, and we didn't even know if he was going to come back. And so we thought of Nick, and then we even asked you, and you said that you actually were already asked by somebody.
I'd already been betrothed to Ronnie Canterbury.
You made a mistake. But that's your shout out there, Ronnie.
No regrets.
That's your shout out. But then Patrick just started talking to us, and we're just like, all right.
So I believe you guys had just beaten us unfairly.
Unfairly. And on our jerseys, actually it says #runner interference.
And if you want to know what that means, don't bother. No one really gives a shit outside of them.
And so we were looking. I knew that Kevin, myself, and Andrew were all coming back, and we didn't. Like I said, Dorn kind of bounced on us. Like he did his own thing.
He literally bounced with the amount of
alcohol in his system.
That's right. He bounced that quarter right in that cup, and he got the fuck out of here.
And then we didn't know about Scotty, so we just decided to combine both teams, and we were looking at it. Dunkel ended up winning the Golden Slugger last year, and I won the Silver Slugger. And Nick was a very tough pitcher last year, and he actually adjusted to the 3 feet at the tournament, and we were thinking, we're going to be fine. Unfortunately, that he had to leave early, and Scotty ended up replacing, not adding. We replaced, keeping that on the record.
Yes.
So, I mean, he threw the first no-hitter of the season, and we were basing our team on pitching and hitting, and so that's how our
I would say
team came about.
The game is based around pitching and hitting.
Well, we added the best hitter at that time with also one of the best pitchers, so that's what we did.
Okay.
Jackass.
Okay. So your pitching technique, I've noticed, has your accuracy has gained despite the 3 feet being added to the overall distance. Did you change your technique at all from last year? And if so, what have you changed?
I've just been practicing. Honestly, I haven't really changed much. I've just been playing around and seeing what I can do with some pitches, and come to find out that I have what I would like to call a draw ball that I've become really, really, really good with, and I like to keep players guessing on what I'm going to pitch. And so that's my game plan. Last year, I just threw the ball. I had nothing. I just threw, and sometimes last year I threw a sidearm. I haven't thrown that at all this year. And so I steered clear to that and just went with my other pitches.
Okay. I think another thing that might have helped is a lot of your pitching wasn't out of exhaustion. I think the pitching rotation has helped a lot of people. If you don't have it, you just move on and somebody else takes them out.
Yes.
Because it's you're not going to have a chance to really dig yourself out of a hole because you're going to run out of innings. You talked about dropped balls. That reminds me, we have a listener question. This one's from Mikey Saxton. It says, Josh. I was doing stunts, whatever the hell that means. I'm trying to be cool and do parkour, and I tried to jump over a handicap sign and landed on my balls on top of the sign. One of my balls has come down, and I was wondering if you could ask Jeremy Ray, could he get it down for me? And it hurts.
Well, how far deep is it?
All the way in.
I could punch him really hard in the stomach and see what happens.
Okay.
So, a possible?
All right. Maybe.
Possible. It's a maybe.
We'll move on to the next question.
Question mark.
We'll help him out.
Name some hitters you hate facing.
Mike McCoy. Absolutely. Ronnie Canterbury. I'll just give the worst hitter I hate to see per team. Mike McCoy. Ronnie Canterbury. Brian.
He's got your number, man.
Yeah, he does. And fucker. He even called it. He was just like, I'm going to send one out. And he did. It's your only run. Brian Ball. Plain white tees. Andy is really tough. Like, he doesn't strike out. He's a very patient hitter against me. I hate facing Matt Gordon.
A lot of people don't give Andy Hill a lot of credit, but he's never been on a really successful team before. I think he could be a very dependable person.
This first year.
Well, look what he did in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Whenever he was surrounded by players that were good.
He missed out in the 2014 season. He had a grand slam off of me clutch in a spring training game. I think he missed out on a lot of glory in the 2014 season.
Why didn't he play?
He got a different job and it interfered with his schedule. But you were saying about Matt Gordon.
Okay. Matt Gordon for breaking balls would probably be the worst batter I would want to face. Sturgill for the Wifflers. And
if he doesn't,
Veronica was very tough.
Pitching to her.
I didn't strike her
Samaya.
out.
Like pitching everyone on that team.
Yeah. I mean,
I just hate that team.
that all rookie team. But
Fuck them.
but
I like that team. It's my favorite team to watch this year.
but those are the type of batters that I hate to face.
I would say they did very well against breaking balls. Just adding that in.
I asked this question to Patrick earlier on the podcast. I'm going to ask you the same question. We're considering dropping the roster max to 5 players next year.
Yeah.
Just tip of the iceberg of the changes we're wanting to make to up the parity a little bit. Build a 5-person dream team for me. If the star system didn't matter, you could have whoever you wanted.
Star system does not matter.
In this scenario.
Okay.
We'll explain what the star system is.
I would go to Romulus.
I would.
Romulan
I would
system.
put myself as the pitcher based on my stats and everything else. I mean, I've won 12 games. Andrew, Brian Ball, Mike McCoy, and I'd keep the boss man Kevin Chatton.
Are you sure about that?
I'd keep the boss man Kevin Chatton.
Obviously, you picked Mike McCoy for a reason.
Here's who I have. Mike McCoy, Brian Ball, Jeremy Way. Jeremy Way.
Jeremy Way.
Andrew
I
West,
have a speech impediment.
Andrew Westcott. and Drew McClanahan. That's who I have for my team.
Well, Andrew's pitched for us and hasn't lost, so it wouldn't be too much, and he's had speed to it, so.
Let me tell you something about your team. It wouldn't fucking work in the star system, so you just jerk off to that one in your own private time because that's all it's going to be, a fucking fantasy.
Yeah, we're
Veto.
Veto. Once it goes,
veto.
Once it goes to the star system, we're going to have to reconsider a lot of things that are going to happen, and I think it's going to be better that it's going to be dropped down to 5 players. That way, teams like us, other players can go play on different teams and, fill out some other teams. Well, if you add the plain white tees, they had like 16 people, so if you get all of them to come back.
So what you're saying is, Josh, with the star system, I could come out of retirement.
And have 0 stars.
That's true. But I
would think
I could actually have fun with the game instead of face a team week in, week out, and lose.
Our next listener question comes to us from Josh Smith. Hi, Josh.
It's Josh's alter ego.
Jeremy, if you had to play Fuck, Marry, Kill with the following 3 people, who would you fuck, who would you marry, and who would you kill? Mike McCoy, Andy Hill, and your buddy Kevin Chatton. Who are you going to fuck?
I'd fuck Kevin. That would be the one.
Okay.
Hey.
Mary, I think Andy would be pretty reliable. As a person.
It's
He's a
legal
pretty
now.
docile guy.
And
You would kill
sorry,
Mike McCoy?
I'm sorry, Mike. I'd kill
God damn. Woo! Okay.
I'm pretty sure he'd be okay with that response.
He's probably fine with that.
He's just like, so I don't have to marry or be fucked by a guy. Okay, I'm okay with that.
Might
He
as
can kill
well.
me.
That's all the questions I have for you in this segment of the podcast. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we will be discussing the 4 teams that we are taking to the London Wiffle Ball Tournament on July 18th when we come back. Talk about the London Wiffle Ball Tournament. It's like the 18th annual or the 218th annual London Wiffle Ball Tournament. The largest slow pitch wiffle ball tournament in the world. Hell yeah. Woohoo. Our next listener question comes from Nick Capra, all the way from Baltimore, Maryland. Jeremy Ray, do you think foreskin is gross?
I think it's necessary. I think it's necessary.
Thank you for that question, Nick, that you
Thank
may
you,
or may
Nick.
not have actually made.
I miss
One
you, Nick.
week from today, Saturday, July 18th, 8 a.m., where are we going to be?
London.
Chicago.
Fucking Ohio.
London.
Corn country.
Yummy.
Field of dreams, baby. Brian Wheeler, we're coming, son, to meet you again. Last time I saw you, you had braces. I'm hoping you're out of that awkward stage when I see you next, man. I'm expecting to see some nice-ass teeth next time I see you, man. God's gift to wiffle ball next to Chris Galloway is Brian Wheeler, hands down.
I don't know, but Chris Galloway invented the sport, didn't he?
Half of our league, nearly, is going to be representing in the London Wiffle Ball Tournament. We're getting a massive turnout, probably thanks to the good time that we had at the National Wiffle League Association tournament with our teammates last year. So for that much, we are in Chris Galloway and the organizing committee's debt. So props, fellas. Sit on My Base, Chicken and Wiffles, Ads, Maddox, and Whifflin' Dixie are going to be representing the Wiffle League in the world's largest slow pitch underhand tournament in London, Ohio on July 18th. Now, who's going, who's staying, and what is the roster situations? Sit on My Base will be Kevin.
No, Kevin will not be there.
Kevin Chatton will not be there. Jeremy Ray will be there. Patrick Rayl will be there. Jacob Dunkel will be there. Andrew Westcott, Scott Westcott, and Kevin Chatton will not be attending.
The original.
Joining them will be Andy Hill and
Brian
Ball. It's going to be a tough team. Chicken and Wiffles is everyone's sans Jacob Fisher. The Asthmatics is going to be without Josiah Chapman and without Jonathan Maxwell, but they may possibly have Kyle Kelly. He's an explosive player that helped Honey Badgers make it to the championship last year. He's a force on defense, and he's a very unpredictable power hitter.
Has he got a jersey yet?
Probably not.
You're welcome, Drew.
Whiffling Dixie without Mike McCoy. But they will have Zach Daniels. Zach Daniels is a wonder player that has participated at least once in every Huntington Wiffle League season, and he's always an explosive hitter. He's a young guy. He's 16. He got grandfathered into the league. That's why he's allowed to play. But make no bones about it, when he doesn't break his arm like he does almost annually, he is a good player. And he looks like he's been lifting a lot of weights. He went to military school. Who knows what's going on in those locker rooms up there? He kept giving me massages.
Here's a fun stat. He was a wrestler of mine that was having some trouble. So it's good to see that he's back out and doing well for himself.
Wish nothing but the best for Zach Daniels. Good kid, good kid. Okay, so that is who it's going to be representing our league in the London Wiffle Ball tournament. So my question to you guys is, who do you think is going to get the furthest into this tournament and why? Now, this tournament is single elimination. You have 3 round-robin games before the seeding, and then the next game you lose, you go home. Or you hang out and watch everybody else and drink beer and probably be shirtless yelling at people from third base like I will be doing.
Can I start off?
Yes.
Sit on my base. Why? Jeremy fucking Ray.
# eat shit. I would have to say us, due to the fact that we're having Brian Ball come with us.
God, you're so conceited.
But I mean, I have no idea what we're getting into. Kind of like what we did with the national tournament last year.
We've had more practice for this. I think we've sadly taken the London tournament more seriously. We've had at least 4 post-game practices London style.
Yeah.
May I ask, how far is the pitching?
It's like 25 feet.
Yeah, and it's all underhand.
It's
Okay.
slow pitch underhand.
Okay, because I was going to say, if it's from 51 feet, we're screwed.
The Ads Max are who I think will get the furthest. I have watched everyone practice. Samaya Chandri has hit the ball further than anybody else. Paul is always crushing the ball, and Veronica's a good hitter. Defense is where I'm not really sure what's going to be happening. If they have Kyle come, I think that they're going to get the furthest out of our 4 teams. If they don't, I think they're going to get the second furthest out of all of our teams. I just think that they're going to hit the ball a lot more consistently than any of our
Or
other
who
teams.
would be your first if Kyle doesn't show?
Sit on my base.
Okay. Honest answer.
If Mike McCoy was coming, hands down, Wiffle Dixie. With
Biz.
Zach Daniels, no question.
Home runs.
Yeah, yeah.
Home runs.
If you're not hitting home runs, you might as well be striking out. And you can't walk at this tournament either. If you want to look up the rules, it is at www.londonwiffleball.com/
So I can't walk 500 miles or walk 500 more in this
That's
tournament?
gonna be beautiful. It's actually gonna make it entertaining.
It's absolute chaos. If you've never been, you're in the middle of this corn or soybean field at this piece of property that has a mansion on it, and there are 20 fields, sometimes more, set up, and games going on simultaneously. There's coolers, people sitting in the shade. It's just absolute mayhem, but I love it. If you've never been, you need to go, and we're going to be taking half the league with us, so a lot of people are going to be seeing what I'm talking about. This tournament is the reason why there is a National Wiffle League Association tournament, because NWA leagues were bringing teams to London to play and compete, and they played it against each other using their own rules. And then that competitive spirit was born, giving us the National Wiffle League Association tournament that we no longer participate in, but has since brought a lot of leagues together for that style of play.
I'm just hoping that #Carl is going to be coming down and visiting.
Most definitely. We're scheduled to have a scrimmage with them Friday night.
That is
supposedly.
awesome. That's awesome.
And we will scrimmage any other NWA team that is interested in playing London-style rules. Friday night, July 17th, we're all going to be leaving and probably having an orgy at the hotel before the practices. So we're going to be good and loose, lubed up.
Lubed up?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Shoulder massages. We're going to be loose. We're going to be ready.
Okay, good.
For London.
Good.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be giving a brief discussion on the star rating system that could be a real game changer for us next year when we come back. And we're back. The final listener question comes to us from our big fan, Carl Coffey. Who do you think will win this year's NWA tournament, Jeremy?
You know what? I'm going to go with last year's champion.
Southeast Michigan?
Yep, absolutely. I mean, they were able to withstand a horrible draw last year in their pool play, and I believe they beat everyone, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And, that was Tampa Bay Wiffle League. That was OCWA, was that?
Ontario County, it's a freaky franchise.
Yeah, freaky franchise. I mean, and they came out ahead. So I think overall, they have the team to win it. They won it last year, and I trust Carl's leadership. # Carl.
Not to mention, Carl came swooping in on a bald eagle, holding a
The
WSEM flag, stabbing it through the heart of Tampa.
I would assume so far it's only been there's been 4 years of this tournament, and only 3 different teams have won it. No, that's a lie. There's been 3 years of this tournament: 2012, 2013, and 2014, and each year it's been a different team to win it. Tampa Bay at first, Freaky Franchise the first year, then Tampa Bay, and now Wiffle and Southeast Michigan.
So
all 3 of those teams made the semifinals all 3 years.
who's going to walk the most?
That
would be my question.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, I guess. Probably McQuan, if I had to guess.
I heard they're not even going to be there this year.
I'm not even sure. They made it to the regional, so
Yeah.
if they qualify, they'll get there. I haven't been following it that closely
McWalk.
because I have no idea what's going on. I would say Wiffle and Southeast Michigan are the favorite to win, but I would not discount Skeevy Wiffleball League or Home Run League Twin Cities. Home Run League Twin Cities, I think, probably, if it is going to be a different team that hasn't won already, that is the team that's going to win it. Skeevy hits the ball a mile. Everyone in that league hits very well. Considering they only play 1 weekend a year, it's actually pretty amazing. They have the talent they have. They must practice a lot leading up to this tournament. And then my dark horse would be the Hessfield Wiffle Ball League. They have some of the best pitching in the whole country up there. Absolutely fierce. So those guys that can hit the ball, they can hit the ball very well. So I would say those are 3 leagues I'd look at if Wiffle and Southeast Michigan or Tampa Bay or Freaky Franchise are not
I
going to
think
be winning.
if Mississippi shows up this year,
Mississippi is dead to everyone.
They're dead to everyone.
Dead to everybody.
Okay, fine.
Worse than us. That's pretty dead.
Yay!
So I hope that answers your question, Carl. Carl was supposed to be joining us in December for our 3rd annual Christmas podcast, and it's looking like he may not be joining us because he's going to be going to Louisville, Kentucky, rather than Virginia, and hitting us on his way there. So
That makes me sad.
that does make me sad. Maybe we can have him call in.
I think that would be necessary.
The hashtag 2 Coffees 1 Cup podcast is very near and dear to my heart. So let's wrap up this podcast by briefly talking about and giving as much of an overview as possible about the 5-star rating system for players and the talent cap for the 2015 season, what it is, how we're going to do it that we figured out so far, and what does this mean for the 2015 season and beyond. So the talent cap is as follows. Each player returning or has ever played any season whatsoever, so let's say James Clack comes back, we will be using as much of the information as we have on people's former season statistics. All returning players from this year, 2015 statistics, will be used going into the 2016 season. I know for hitters, we have it figured out so far. The best way I can think of doing it is taking all the batting averages, making a Bell chart out of it, and then the top 10th percentile is a 5-star player. The next 10th percentile, 4-star hitter. 3rd percentile, 3-star hitter. All returning players of any kind are at very least 2-star players. Any rookies so far will be 1-star players. Now, what makes this important is that I don't think, especially since we have a member of this team here, no one can really argue that Sit on My Base is not a team that's like a test tube baby designed to win. We have almost this Yankee syndrome. And what we're going to do is, if you're going to be the fucking Yankees, you're going to be the fucking Yankees, and you're going to be paying some extra money to have this talent. So what's going to happen is we're going to establish a cap if you can have this many stars worth of players on a team. Probably 15 to 18 stars. It's probably going to be on the lower end there.
I think it should be 18.
Yeah, that's still going to be enough for you, motherfucker. So we're also talking about dropping down the maximum roster to 5 players.
Which I think should happen.
Yeah, because most teams did not have 5 players this year, and the teams that have 6 players have, in general, on average, probably a 2-player advantage over teams that do not that are not maxing out their rosters. You're either barely getting along or you're having a maximum roster, and there's a way to sort of even that out. not just with talent, but it's also about manpower because you have teams like Wifflers playing white tees and very close in some situations, Wiffle and Dixie having trouble getting enough players to the field. So you're going to have a maximum amount of star power on a team, or you're going to be paying extra. It's called a luxury tax, just like Wiffle in Southeast Michigan does with the registration fee. You don't want to pay that? Then you need to drop them. Now, what this is going to do is going to create a small pool of existing players of free agents. And for the first time in league history, we're going to have a free agent market on the hot stove for you to be able to pick people up. Since a lot of us get along anyway and we talk and hang out with each other outside of gameplay, this should not be much of an issue. We're also not discouraging any all-rookie teams developing, but in our experience, teams made entirely of rookies are unlikely to return, unlikely to have success, and also less likely to have a good time. So it is strongly encouraged that any rookies join the free agency, and then we can have tryouts, or we can just mandatory just have those people picked up onto teams that have available spots.
I beg to differ about rookies not having fun, because last year we were a team of all rookies, and I think with the help of Dorn being drunk off his ass every single time.
It's an unlikely result. Those results are not typical. So what about pitchers, Josh? What about pitchers? We haven't really figured out a formula and how we're going to measure who's a 5-star pitcher, who's a 3-star pitcher.
So who would you put down as a 5-star player?
A 5-star player, if they don't pitch, it's much easier. You're only going on their hitting statistics. Now, when we do come up with a formula on how to determine which pitchers are worth this many stars, they're going to have an offensive star rating too. What we'll do is we'll add those two stars worst together and divide by 2. That will give you your overall rating. The overall rating of each player is what it's going to be. So if you're a 5-star pitcher and a 3-star hitter, you're a 4-star player overall. Okay? Makes sense? So what's going to happen is it's going to up the parity in the league, but it's also, we're going to be taking some hit points in the social aspect of the league. A lot of people like being on one of the teams with their friends. I want to play with my friends. And I only want to play with my friends. And I want to have circle jerks with my friends. And I want to have
Circle
matching
jerks are
T-shirts
fun.
with my friends.
They're fun.
But you're still getting to hang out with your friends because all the fields are back-to-back with each other. I talk to people on other teams more than I talk to my own teammates a lot of times. So
It's because your team hates you.
Now you can shit talk your friends a
Yeah.
whole lot more than you used to. If you're
and it's
on
for the
opposite
it's
teams.
for the better of the league. If we end up contracting slightly to 6 teams for the first year of this, I'm totally fine with that. And I don't think anyone else is having problems with that because, like it or not, there were 2 teams that existed this year that, on paper, just nobody was there half the time. And then the year before that, there were some teams that are pretty damn close to not being able to get there half the time. So it's time that we really rein this in, admit that there's a problem, see that there's some teams that are going to they're going to crush everybody, and then there's some teams that are going to not win any fucking games.
And that's the first step,
And fix it.
Josh. Admitting you
Admitting,
have a problem.
admitting is
Wiffle in Southeast Michigan used to be the same way. I checked their standings a few weeks ago. Their first place team in one of their divisions was at 500.
So are you saying we're like baby WSEM?
I'm saying we're Little League in this shit. And as far as parity goes, this is the closest we've ever had to it, which is sad. Like I forget what our division's called. We're either River City or Jewel City. I don't give a shit. Cinewide Base is 19-1. The next closest team is 12-8. In the other division, 18-2. Second place team, 10-10. We can't continuously have almost double-digit games behind between first and second place teams and be considered serious in the rankings nationally or when we go to tournaments to compete.
in our defense, we were like that last year.
Yeah, it's almost like, and if we really had, like, as far as talent goes with all-star games, it would be almost like the Royals. Just it'd be 2 different divisions. There'd be mostly players from Breaking Balls this year, mostly players from Cinewide Base this year. If it came down to representation as far as talent goes, rather than it has to be 1 player or 2 players from each team. It's time for those days to end. It's time to move on and take it to the next step. This is our 4th year coming up with this league. It's time to progress and take it to the next level.
This is Josh's hope and change, everyone.
That's right.
By the way, I didn't vote for Obama, so I don't like change.
Hey, we leave political affiliations outside that door over there. All right?
I think it's going to be. You're going to be able to keep the nuts and bolts of a team together. You're going to still
And
have
die.
those cores to where you can have. If you have to have your best friend on your team, you can still afford to do that. But if you have this guy on your team because he's awesome, or because he's just one of your buddies, but he also has friends elsewhere in the league, this is a good time for you to sort of socialize with other people, spread the talent throughout the league, and make every game exciting to where anybody could win any game the whole season.
So,
and I think that's what we all want.
Just
If it's
a
not what
question.
you want, that's what you should want.
What are the taxes going to look like? Or the fees going to look
The
like?
luxury tax.
Yeah, the
Luxury
luxury
tax,
tax,
I think
yeah.
it's going to be...
I mean, how much am I going to have to pay for Jeremy Ray to be on my team?
If you go over your cap, I think it's like triple digits.
Then how much am I going to have to pay for Jeremy Ray?
It's gonna be at least
Nick
a Benjamin.
Capra,
And I think Wiffle in Southeast Michigan,
Mike
it's a
McCoy.
certain amount per star you're over. So let's say the cap's 15, and you were at 14 with your current team, and you add Jeremy Ray. Let's say Jeremy Ray is a
Technically-
5-star player. You're 4 stars over. Let's say it's $100 per star. We're talking $400 you're going to be laying down just to have him on your team. We're not saying you can do it. We're saying you're going to pay for it.
I'm an expensive player.
If you're going to be the Yankees, you're going to fucking be the Yankees.
I think it should be 18 stars. Personally,
It's going to be more stars if you max out the
Because
roster, but if you have
you would have to put.
if you have 4 players, it's going to be proportionally less stars.
I think it should be the max should be 18 because you got to think you have
know, I
5
think-
players with 3 stars each. If you're going to have 5 players, if you're going to max out, you have to make sure that their 3 stars are lower. So you couldn't have someone on your team like a Brian Ball, who I think would be a 5-star, or someone along like a 4-star. I mean, you're already about to hit pass. I think it
So,
should be 18.
I have a question about this. If it does go 18, sir, does that, and we have a 5-team cap. I just answered my own question. I was going to say, can I have 18 players on one team of rookies?
Yeah, can't do that.
Can't do that. Damn.
All rookies are 1 star.
I like your thinking, though. I do.
I mean, imagine. I mean,
18.
I'll go out and recruit half the baseball and softball team.
Got to
You
be
know,
18 or older.
they just turned 18. Some of them.
Bitch. Like
Bitch.
you had a paper chain. Your eyes got all big. You're like, they just turned 18. It's okay.
He can go to Marshall.
I can do whatever I want.
Marshall has a baseball team, believe it or not.
Do they? Do they really? Is that what they call it these days?
They have a program.
That
they have a club.
travels. They don't. They don't have their own field. They have a softball field.
Well, that just tells you that the softball team.
What a laugh.
Yeah.
Actually,
But I do think it should be 18 at.
I think 15's fair. That's 5 3-star players.
now if I bring in,
But then I think it should be.
Or that's a 5-star player, a 3-star player, and a 4-star player, and 2 rookies.
what if I want a team of Andy Hills? I mean, I should get like some type of advantage or
A
something.
team of Andy Hill sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, it would be.
You know everyone's going to be there the whole fucking time. You're going to be at full strength every week
With bells on.
with bells on. With balls out.
Dick flopping.
Dick flopping.
So I would say teams like not so much the breaking balls this year. I think the breaking balls this year probably would have been pushing capping out, but I think they could have made it work. Nick Capra showed up one time, so we could just say drop his ass from the roster. At best, Jeff Ryer would be a low 3. I would say he's mostly a 2-star player.
Don't say that
Ryan
about
Pritt,
Jeff.
I would consider Ryan Pritt a 4, strong 4, possibly 5-star player.
Well, if
Drew
you're,
McClanahan, same thing, and then
Drew's a 2-star player. Let's face it.
and then you have
agree. I agree.
Matt Gordon, which would probably be a 3-4-star player. That's going to put you under 15 there, and that's 4 people. So
you want to know what I really think really hurt Drew McClanahan's performance this year?
3 feet.
He didn't stop at the Weenie Mobile on his way to the NWA tournament. And I think that really has hurt him all the way until this season.
To
He
the
did not
core.
get to stop.
to the core.
He did not get to stop, but he did get to go to Racks.
Hell yeah, get the cheese dip. I mean, opportunities going to
I'm sorry,
go to
Drew.
Racks.
I am so sorry for you. But
You know the best part of that trip to Racks? Right before we went to Racks, I said, you know who loves Racks and roast beef places in general? Old people. We're the only people under 60 in that place, besides employees. It was insane.
I feel for Drew.
And it was more than just the Weenie Mobile we didn't stop at, which was like 2 blocks away from this Racks.
We even got weenie whistles.
I got cheese sauce with my fries, and he didn't know that was an option.
And I think that really hurt his performance this year. And
I think it really hurt his feelings in our friendship.
I think it did
I
too.
drove.
He used to talk to me outside of football. Now he doesn't do it anymore. Things
don't blame-
changed after that.
I don't blame him.
He's no longer trying to court a substitute teacher. That's what he is.
The talent cap star rating system is going to be deliberated further by the league rules committee, and a PDF will be added to the website sometime during the off season in the fall when we have decided what is what. And we will also be going through the rule book and taking it more seriously. I did not have the backup I was hoping to have last off season in redoing the rule book and refining it, which led to some trouble this year. But I think we're going to be fully prepared for next year. This talent cap is going to completely revolutionize how we enjoy our regular seasons. I just say if we had a dome, it'd be the best season in the books, no doubt.
Agreed.
I think we should get tarp for the fields next year. By the way, I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there. I'm not talking about
dirt.
I'm not talking about just for the mound and the batter's box. I'm talking let's get some tarp
And put
and weave them together and put it across the entire field and weigh it down with some rocks.
We can just tie it down. End to end.
Everyone's looking at me crazy. I'm dead serious.
I can imagine it.
I'm up for whatever. I'm here for the party.
I think we should get some small children and they should carry the tarp across. The
Get
field.
about 16 tarps, tie them all together, roll them out from the fence, tie it to the fence, and just roll it and leave it there. Well, someone would steal it.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Nah, it is
That's probably
hunting.
not a good idea.
But the talent cap is happening. It was voted on and passed unanimously in the league rules committee. So
Minus Jeremy Litton.
minus Jeremy Lin, but who
actually-
cares?
I'm a yes man. I would have voted yes.
He is a yes
anyway,
man.
So.
That's right. So it is going to be happening. So we will be the second league in existence to only do this. We are following Wiffle and Southeast Michigan's lead again
We love you, Carl.
for the 40th time. I tried to get this done last year. I was really excited about it. But no one else understood what how I was talking about. And they're in their second year of this now. Parity is up. Statistics are a lot more competitive. And they went from a league that didn't come close really to winning the national championship to winning the national championship. They're attracting more talent because the competition is stiffer.
Are you saying
Stephen Farkas just came out of
we're
nowhere?
going to go back to a national championship type game? That's not London?
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying it's going to help us grow in talent and grow socially, and I think we'll be a better league for it.
I like being
I think we might
antisocial.
have some memories. Maybe we can
Memories.
make a scrapbook, journal about it.
Take
Scrapbooks.
selfies together.
Maybe.
All right, good.
Maybe
That's
go
what
to naked
Facebook's for.
saunas together.
We need like a selfie stick for that then.
Maybe. I got a stick. I play with myself. I call it my selfie stick.
Wow.
Well, that is all the information we have discussed on this
Yeah, on this information.
on this episode of the Huntington Wiffle League podcast. Signing off, I'm your host, Josh Smith, with my co-host and producer,
Jeremy Litton.
and our special guest.
Jeremy Ray.
We'll talk to you soon.
Peace out, foos.
Daddy! Do you want to listen to more episodes of the Huntington Wiffle League podcast?
Hell yeah!
Woo! Then visit our website at huntingtonwiffleball.com. We'll see you there.